Have you ever felt like you're meant for something bigger, but the weight of your past keeps dragging you down? What if your life's work led you to a dangerous, thrilling world where the stakes are higher than you ever imagined? In today's story, we dive into the life of a tough, no-nonsense woman named Eva Carter. She's a bodyguard, but not just any bodyguard. Eva's a professional with a past that still haunts her, one mistake that cost her everything. Now, she's been given another chance, an offer she can't refuse, even if it means putting everything on the line again. Her new assignment: protecting the son of a billionaire, Liam Astor, a man known for his reckless behavior and endless trouble. But there's more to Liam than anyone could have expected. Charming, flirty, and full of life, he's everything Eva doesn't want to get involved with. And yet, there's something about him that pulls her in, something that she can't explain. In this video, we'll uncover how Eva, a woman driven by duty and haunted by her past, is forced to confront her emotions as she becomes closer to the man she's meant to protect. You'll see the secrets, the tension, and the unexpected sparks that fly between them, all while danger lurks just around the corner. Stay tuned as we reveal how the lines between professional duty and forbidden desire begin to blur. You won't want to miss what happens when Eva starts questioning everything she thought she knew about love, loyalty, and her own heart. So, if you love stories with a twist, suspense, and emotional depth, make sure you stick with us till the end. Trust me, you're in for a ride. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a thrilling chapter of this story. Welcome to our channel, and let's dive into the first chapter of this unforgettable journey. As the days pass, Eva settles into the mansion, always alert, always watching. Her role as Liam's bodyguard consumes her every waking moment. But it's not just about guarding his body, it's about protecting him from himself. Liam is unpredictable, often rushing headfirst into trouble without a second thought. Eva can't let her guard down for a second. Every time he steps out of line, she's there to pull him back, reminding him of the dangers that lurk around every corner. It's a tiring job, both mentally and physically. But that's what Eva is used to. She's been through worse, and she's no stranger to high-pressure situations. The last thing she expects is to feel anything other than professional distance from her charge. She's not here to get close. She's not here to be his friend. Her job is clear: protect him, keep him safe, and keep her heart locked away. But Liam makes it harder than she could have imagined. He's relentless, charming her with his smile, throwing playful jabs in her direction. He seems to enjoy testing her limits, finding new ways to make her feel uncomfortable, without ever crossing the line. His flirty remarks make her pulse quicken, though she'd never admit it. Eva knows better than to get caught up in his games. One evening, after another close call at a club, Eva pulls Liam aside. He's practically glowing from the excitement of the night, oblivious to the chaos that's been brewing around him. She reminds him of the risks, the fact that they have enemies, people who would do anything to harm him for the right price. But Liam brushes her off, making a joke about how she's overreacting. "You're a buzzkill, Eva," he teases, grinning at her. Eva doesn't smile back. She never does. Her expression is a mask of professionalism, but inside, something stirs. Later that night, as they sit in the back of a limo, returning to the mansion, the atmosphere between them shifts. The tension is thick, almost palpable. Liam, still a little tipsy from the night's excitement, turns toward her with a genuine curiosity. "You're different from the others," he says, his voice softer now. "You don't care about my money. You don't even care about who I am. You just do your job." Why is that? Eva doesn't know how to answer. She's never stopped to think about it. Maybe it's because, deep down, she doesn't want to be like everyone else. Maybe it's because she's been burned too many times to let herself get close to anyone again. "I'm here to protect you," she says simply, keeping her gaze focused out the window. That's it. No more, no less. Liam seems to ponder this, his usual arrogance fading for a moment. For the briefest of seconds, he looks almost vulnerable. But just as quickly, he shakes it off, replacing it with his usual charm. Yeah, I get it. You're the serious one. I'm the fun one." He flashes her a teasing grin, but this time, there's something different about it, something that makes her stomach tighten. Despite herself, Eva feels a pang of something unfamiliar. A flicker of warmth in the cold, professional wall she's built around herself. But she pushes it away. She can't afford distractions. Not now. Not ever. The next day, things return to their usual routine. Liam is reckless once more, ignoring her warnings as if they're nothing. But Eva can't shake the thought of that moment in the limo, his gaze on her, the sincerity in his voice. She tries to focus on her job, to remind herself that this is just a job, but it's becoming harder and harder to convince herself of that. As the days drag on, she begins to notice small changes in the way Liam looks at her, less teasing, more, something else. Something that makes her heart race. He's still unpredictable, still reckless, but now there's a layer of something deeper beneath the surface. Eva starts to realize that Liam Astor isn't just the spoiled, arrogant billionaire she thought he was. There's a side of him that few people ever see, vulnerable, lonely, and more than a little lost. But as she gets closer to him, Eva knows one thing for sure: getting involved with Liam is a dangerous game. He's the billionaire's son. She's his bodyguard. No matter how much chemistry they share, nothing can come of it. Her job is to protect him, not to fall for him. But the more time she spends with him, the harder it becomes to keep those lines from blurring. And deep down, Eva knows that the danger she's trying to protect him from might not just be on the outside, it's also starting to come from within. The danger is no longer just a threat on paper. It's real, and it's closing in on them. After the break-in attempt, Eva's senses are heightened. The attackers were professional, calculated, someone who knew exactly when to strike. She can feel it in her bones. There's something much darker at play than just random threats against Liam. They're being targeted, and whoever is behind it is playing a dangerous game. The question is, why? Who would go this far to get to him? Eva doesn't waste any time. She tightens security around the mansion and insists on staying by Liam's side even more vigilantly than before. If he thought she was protective before, it's nothing compared to the hyper-awareness she now has. Every shadow, every sudden noise, every flicker of movement makes her skin crawl. She's on edge. She has to be. But Liam, he's not as concerned as she is. Of course, he respects the heightened security, but the gravity of the situation doesn't seem to hit him. He's too caught up in his own world, his own problems. His carefree attitude is, in a way, a shield to keep his emotions in check. Eva can't understand how he's able to remain so unaffected by the real threat that's out there. One evening, they sit together on the balcony of the mansion, overlooking the city below. Liam's mood is lighter than usual, as if the threat that looms over them hasn't even registered in his mind. He leans back in his chair, tossing a playful look her way. "You know, Eva, you're like a walking fortress," he says with a grin. "Maybe I should hire you to protect me from my father. He's the real threat in my life." Eva doesn't smile. She's not in the mood for jokes. "I'm serious, Liam. We're not safe. Whoever is behind this isn't playing around. They want something from you, something we haven't figured out yet." Liam shrugs, clearly trying to dismiss her words. "You worry too much. I've survived this long, haven't I?" "By the skin of your teeth," she mutters under her breath, but loud enough for him to hear. She turns away, her gaze focusing on the dark horizon. Her mind races with the possibility that Liam might be underestimating the danger. And then it hits her. The more time she spends with Liam, the more she begins to notice how different he is from the careless, spoiled image he portrays. He's not the cocky billionaire son who only cares about having fun. There's a depth to him, something raw and unspoken. Liam looks at her, his playful smirk fading as he senses the shift in her mood. There's a quiet intensity in the air now, a tension that hasn't been there before. The usual flirtatious banter is replaced by something more serious, something unspoken. For a moment, they just stare at each other. It's as if everything between them has paused for a brief second, the noise of the world fading into the background. "What happened to you, Eva?" Liam finally asks, breaking the silence. "Why are you so hard all the time? Don't you ever want to just let go?" Her chest tightens at the question. She knows he doesn't mean it in the way he's asking, but she's not ready to let him see the cracks in her armor. "I've had enough of letting go," she says flatly, her voice colder than she intends. "People get hurt when you do." Liam's eyes soften, the teasing facade vanishing. He seems to sense the weight of her words, the layers of pain she hides beneath her tough exterior. And for the first time, she sees something in him that she hasn't before: understanding. I get it, he says quietly, looking away toward the city. But you're not alone in this, Eva. You don't have to keep pushing everyone away. Eva's heart skips a beat at the sincerity in his voice. She quickly pushes the feeling aside. This is a job. She can't afford to let her guard down, not now. Not when their lives are still at risk. She stands up abruptly, breaking the moment. Enough talk. We need to get back inside. It's not safe out here. But Liam doesn't move right away. He watches her for a long moment, his eyes filled with something deeper, something she's not ready to face. Eva, he starts, but he doesn't finish. Instead, he stands up slowly, walking past her into the mansion without saying another word. That night, things change between them. The atmosphere becomes heavier, more charged. Liam no longer teases her as he once did. The playful comments have stopped, replaced by quiet glances that linger just a little too long. But the real change comes when they're faced with another threat, this time, much closer to home. Around midnight, the alarms go off, jolting them both awake. Eva's training kicks in immediately. She grabs her gun and heads to Liam's room, her heart racing. This time, she can't afford to let anything slip through the cracks. She bursts through the door, finding Liam standing by the window, staring out into the night. Get down, Eva yells, rushing to him, pulling him away from the glass. But it's too late. A shot rings out, the sound sharp and deafening. The bullet crashes into the wall next to them, inches away from Liam's head. Eva pushes him to the ground, shielding him with her body as another shot is fired. Her heart pounds in her chest as she returns fire, trying to keep the attackers at bay. They're under siege. And for the first time since she took this job, Eva realizes just how much of a personal stake she has in keeping Liam safe. It's no longer just about duty. Something has shifted inside her, something that makes the thought of losing him unbearable. The night is a blur of danger, of adrenaline and fear. When the attackers finally retreat, leaving the mansion in chaos, Eva breathes a sigh of relief. Liam is safe, this time. But she knows it won't be the last time they're targeted. And as she looks at him, lying on the floor beside her, she understands something that frightens her to the core. She's no longer just his bodyguard. She's something more. And that something more might cost her everything. The days following the attack pass in a haze of tension and unease. Eva is on constant high alert, her every move calculated, her eyes never straying too far from Liam. They're still at the mansion, and even though the immediate danger has passed, Eva can't shake the feeling that it's only a matter of time before something worse happens. Liam, however, seems to be acting as though nothing has changed. His usual cocky attitude is back in full force, and he's even more relentless in his attempts to make her laugh, to get her to lighten up. He jokes around, teasing her about her serious demeanor and how she's always on edge. But beneath the playful remarks, Eva sees the cracks in his armor. The facade of confidence he wears is thinner than she expected. She notices the moments when his smile falters, when his gaze drifts off into the distance as though he's lost in thought. For all his bravado, there's a sadness in him, something that haunts him, just like her past haunts her. One evening, after another long day of surveillance and security checks, Eva finds herself in the mansion's garden, pacing restlessly. The stars above are barely visible through the clouds, and the air is cool against her skin. She's just finished another round of checking all the doors and windows for potential weaknesses. It's all she can focus on, the job, the duty. But tonight, something feels different. The walls she's built around herself are starting to crack. Liam steps out into the garden, his footsteps quiet against the grass. He leans against the stone wall, watching her as she walks in circles, her eyes focused on the ground. "You're wearing yourself out," he says softly, his voice unusually serious. Eva stops and looks at him, a faint frown crossing her face. "I'm fine. Just making sure everything's secure." Liam steps closer, his presence somehow calming, even though she's been trying to avoid him more lately. The closer she gets to him, the harder it is to keep her emotions under control. She's already noticed how he's begun to wear down her defenses with every passing day. She tries to ignore it, but the pull between them is undeniable. "Are you always this focused on your job?" Liam asks, a half-smile playing at his lips. "Or is it just me that gets you so wound up?" Eva's eyes narrow slightly. She knows he's trying to get a rise out of her, but tonight, there's something about his tone that feels different. She can't place it. There's a vulnerability there, an openness she hasn't seen before. I'm just doing my job, she says coolly, her voice firm. You're not my only responsibility. Liam's smile fades, and for the first time, he looks almost hurt. He steps closer, and this time, Eva doesn't move away. The air between them crackles with unspoken words, with a tension neither of them wants to acknowledge. Eva, Liam says, his voice quieter now, almost hesitant. I don't want to be just another job to you. I get it, you're here to protect me, but what about you? What about what you need? His words hang in the air, and for a brief moment, Eva feels a tightness in her chest, like something is unraveling inside her. She wants to push him away, to tell him this can never happen, that she can't afford to get too close to him. But the words don't come. Instead, she stands there, staring at him, her heart racing, her mind a swirl of confusion. I don't need anything, she mutters, her voice barely audible. I'm here to do my job, Liam. That's it. Liam doesn't back down. He takes another step toward her, closing the distance between them. His eyes are intense now, searching hers, trying to find something, some sign that maybe she feels what he does. You don't have to keep everything locked up, you know, he says softly. I'm not like the others. I'm not going to hurt you. Eva's breath catches in her throat. She wants to believe him. She wants to let her guard down, to feel something other than the constant tension and fear that's been running her life for so long. But she knows better. She can't afford to. Not with someone like him. I can't do this, she says sharply, taking a step back, her voice harsh. I'm your bodyguard, Liam. Nothing more. This can't happen. She turns and walks away, her heart pounding in her chest. She knows she's lying to herself, but the alternative is too dangerous to consider. If she lets herself fall for him, if she allows this connection to grow, it will destroy everything she's worked so hard for. She's been through too much to throw it all away now. Liam doesn't call after her, but she feels his eyes on her as she walks back toward the mansion. The tension lingers in the air, heavy and unresolved. That night, she barely sleeps. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees his face, his eyes searching hers, waiting for her to admit the truth. But she can't. Not yet. The next day, she's back to business as usual, though it's harder to focus than it's ever been. Every time Liam walks into the room, every time he glances her way, it's like a magnetic pull she can't escape. She can't help but notice the way he seems to be watching her more closely now, the way his smile has softened, the way he doesn't tease her as much. Instead, he's quieter, more introspective. It's clear that something has shifted between them. Neither of them is willing to admit it, but the tension is there, thick and undeniable. And every time they pass one another in the halls, every time their hands brush by accident, Eva feels it, like the world is slowly pulling them together, even though they both know they shouldn't be. But the danger is still there, lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike. And as much as Eva tries to keep her focus on the job, she knows that the lines between duty and desire are starting to blur in ways she never expected. And the more time she spends with Liam, the harder it becomes to remember why she shouldn't fall for him. The days grow more dangerous. Tension fills the mansion as both Eva and Liam feel the weight of the situation pressing down on them. Despite the security measures, despite Eva's constant vigilance, there's an undeniable sense of dread that hangs in the air, a silent reminder that the people who want Liam gone are still out there, waiting. But now, it's not just the physical threats they're facing. The emotional stakes have risen, and both of them know it. Eva has always prided herself on being able to compartmentalize, to keep her emotions in check. But with Liam, it's different. There's something about him that makes it impossible to remain completely unaffected. Every time they interact, it's harder to keep things professional. She feels the pull between them growing stronger, no matter how much she tries to push it away. Liam, on the other hand, seems more determined than ever to make her see him as something more than a job. He continues to test her boundaries, to see how far he can push before she breaks. His teasing, his subtle flirtations, have intensified, but there's something deeper now in his eyes, a longing that mirrors her own fears. The more time they spend together, the more their walls begin to crumble, one brick at a time. But neither of them is ready to confront the truth. One evening, as they're finishing up another security sweep, Eva can't ignore the fact that things have shifted. The night air is crisp, and the world around them seems eerily quiet. They're alone in the living room, and for the first time in weeks, there's no immediate danger, no sense of looming threat. It should be a relief, but instead, Eva feels a tightness in her chest, an ache she doesn't know how to ignore. Liam is sitting across from her, casually flipping through his phone, but Eva can see that his mind isn't on the screen. He's distracted, his thoughts elsewhere. His usual bravado is absent tonight, replaced by a quieter, more contemplative version of himself. "You look different," Eva says, the words slipping out before she can stop them. Her voice is softer than usual, almost hesitant. Liam looks up, his eyes meeting hers. There's a flicker of something there, something that makes her heart race. He doesn't answer right away, as though he's trying to decide whether or not to let her see what's in his eyes. "I've been thinking," he says slowly, his voice unusually serious. "About everything. About you. About us." Eva's heart skips a beat at the mention of the word, us. She quickly turns her attention back to the security reports on her phone, trying to focus, to block out the growing tension between them. "There is no us," she says firmly, her voice cool. "I'm your bodyguard. That's all this is. You're not my responsibility in any other way." Liam's gaze doesn't waver. "You know that's not true," he says softly. "You care about me, Eva. I can see it. You've been protecting me for so long, but you've also been protecting yourself. From me. From what we could be." Her breath catches in her throat, and she can feel her walls beginning to crack. She stands up quickly, pacing the room in an attempt to regain control of her emotions. "No," she says, shaking her head, her voice hard. "This is a job. You're a billionaire's son. I'm your bodyguard. That's it." Liam stands, walking over to where she's standing by the window. "I don't believe you," he says, his voice quiet but firm. "You can't hide from it forever, Eva. You've let me in, whether you want to admit it or not. I see the way you look at me when you think I'm not watching. I know you feel something." Eva spins around, her chest tightening with emotion. "You don't understand. You don't get it." Her voice breaks slightly, the crack in her tough exterior clear. She takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "I can't afford to feel anything for you. I've already lost people I care about. I'm not going to make that mistake again." Liam's expression softens, and for a moment, there's no teasing, no arrogance. He steps closer to her, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not going anywhere, Eva. You don't have to do this alone." The vulnerability in his voice is like a blow to her chest. She wants to believe him. She wants to take his hand, to fall into the comfort he's offering, but she can't. It's too dangerous. For both of them. Before she can respond, the sharp sound of glass shattering echoes through the room. The security system goes off, blaring an alarm that cuts through the thick atmosphere. Eva's instincts kick in immediately. She grabs Liam's arm, pulling him toward the door, her heart pounding in her chest. "Get to the panic room. Now," she orders, her voice cold and authoritative. But Liam hesitates, his eyes locked on hers. "No," he says firmly, shaking his head. "I'm not hiding while you do all the work. I'm staying with you." "Liam, please," Eva begs, her voice desperate now. "You're not safe. I can't protect you if you're with me." But it's too late. The door bursts open, and armed men flood the room, their faces masked. Eva barely has time to react. She pulls Liam behind her, instinctively putting herself between him and the attackers. A gunshot rings out, and she feels the sting of a bullet graze her arm, but she doesn't flinch. Her focus is razor sharp, her only goal to get Liam to safety. She fights back with everything she has, but the attackers are too many. They're closing in, and she knows she won't be able to keep them away much longer. Her mind races. She can't afford to lose him, not after everything they've been through. But then, out of the corner of her eye, she sees him, Liam, holding a gun. He's standing next to her, fighting alongside her, his face set with determination. "You're not doing this alone," he says again, his voice steady, unwavering. Eva feels her heart tighten in her chest. She's never wanted anyone to be part of this world, the dangerous, unpredictable world of bodyguards and billionaire heirs, but as she looks at Liam, standing by her side, she realizes something she can't deny. She's not just protecting him anymore. She's fighting for him, and for the first time since this all began, she's afraid that she might lose him, not to the danger, but to the feelings she's spent so long burying deep inside. With one last, determined push, they fight their way to the panic room, locking the door behind them just as the attackers retreat. But as Eva leans against the wall, breathless and injured, she realizes that the most dangerous threat to them both is no longer just the outside world. It's the connection they share, one that's growing stronger every day, no matter how hard she tries to resist. And with that realization, she knows there's no turning back. The calm after the storm is deceptive. The panic room's walls are thick, the air cold and sterile, but inside, the tension is suffocating. Eva sits against the wall, her breath shallow and ragged, the wound on her arm still bleeding but no longer a priority. Her focus is on Liam, on the way he's watching her, his eyes searching, waiting for something. She can feel it, like the quiet before the inevitable storm. They've crossed a line, one they both knew was there but couldn't avoid any longer. Liam looks at her, his face tense, his jaw clenched. He doesn't say anything at first, just watches her, his gaze flickering between the injury on her arm and her face. She knows he wants to say something, something that's been building up between them for days, but neither of them is ready for that conversation, not yet. Eva finally breaks the silence, her voice hoarse, the adrenaline wearing off and leaving only exhaustion behind. You shouldn't have been there. I told you to go. I'm not leaving you, Liam responds firmly, his tone leaving no room for argument. He stands up and approaches her, his movements slower than usual, as if he's afraid of getting too close. But she doesn't pull away. You're not supposed to be part of this. You shouldn't even be involved, Eva says, her voice low, almost pleading, but her words carry a weight that neither of them can ignore. Liam kneels beside her, his eyes softening as he looks at the wound on her arm. I'm already involved, Eva. You can't push me away anymore. I don't want you to do this alone. You don't have to. His words cut through her defenses like a hot knife, and for the first time since she took this job, Eva doesn't know how to respond. She's spent her whole life keeping people at arm's length, protecting her heart from getting tangled in the mess of emotions that would only get in the way. But with Liam, it's different. He's breaking through the walls she's built one by one, and it terrifies her. I can't let myself feel this way about you, she says, her voice cracking. It's not just about us. It's about everything. My job. My past. You don't know what it's like to carry the weight of someone else's life on your shoulders every day. I can't afford to fail. And if I care about you, I'll fail. Liam's hand reaches out, gently brushing her hair out of her face, his touch surprisingly tender. You're not going to fail. Not with me. Eva flinches slightly at the touch, not because she doesn't want it, but because it means something more than she's ready to admit. She looks at him, searching his eyes for any sign that this is just another game, another flirtation. But she doesn't find it. Instead, she sees something deep, something real that's been hiding behind his charming exterior all along. He leans in, his voice quiet but full of conviction. I don't care about the danger. I don't care about the job. I care about you. And I'm not going anywhere. Not now. Not ever. Her breath catches in her throat, and she wants to pull away, to push him out of her heart, but she can't. Not anymore. The truth has been staring her in the face for too long, and no matter how hard she tries to deny it, she knows she's already in too deep. She's already falling for him. Without thinking, she reaches out and places her hand on his, her fingers trembling as she holds onto him. She doesn't say anything, she doesn't have to. The silence between them speaks volumes, and in that moment, everything changes. But their moment of peace is short-lived. The calm is shattered by the loud beeping of the panic room's security system. Eva's body tenses, her instincts kicking in immediately. She pulls away from Liam, her mind racing through all the possibilities. The attackers haven't given up. They're back. Liam stands quickly, his protective instincts kicking in as well. What's going on? He asks, his voice low but filled with urgency. Stay here, Eva orders sharply, but Liam doesn't listen. He grabs his jacket and heads toward the door, his face set in determination. You're not doing this alone, he says, his voice firm. I'm staying with you. Eva doesn't have the time or the energy to argue. They're running out of options, and right now, Liam's safety is her top priority. She steps in front of him as they exit the panic room, her eyes scanning the mansion for any signs of movement. The alarms are blaring, and the lights are flashing, but there's no sign of anyone in the immediate area. She grabs her gun, checking its clip and moving toward the front door, all her senses alert. The attack has escalated. Whoever is behind it is determined to finish what they started. Liam follows closely behind her, and for once, Eva doesn't push him away. The sense of solidarity between them is undeniable. In the face of danger, they've become a team, two people fighting not just for survival, but for something deeper. Suddenly, the door bursts open, and armed men rush into the foyer, weapons drawn. Eva's heart pounds in her chest, but her movements are instinctive. She dives to the side, pulling Liam with her, and fires a warning shot. The attackers hesitate for a split second, but that's all Eva needs to take control. She moves swiftly, her training kicking in as she dispatches the first wave of attackers. Liam, to her surprise, is right beside her, his own gun in hand, firing at the remaining threats. They work in tandem, their movements synchronized as if they've done this 1,000 times before. In that moment, it's clear that they're more than just Bodyguard and Billionaire. They're partners, fighting side by side. When the last of the attackers is neutralized, the silence that follows is deafening. Eva stands over one of the men, her gun still aimed at him as she takes a breath to steady her racing heart. Liam is beside her, his expression a mixture of relief and awe. "That was intense," he says, a hint of a smile on his lips. Eva lowers her gun, her body still on high alert. It's not over. They'll be back. She turns to look at him, her heart pounding as she takes in the man who's no longer just the billionaire's son she's sworn to protect. He's more than that now. He's the person she's fighting for. And no matter how dangerous it gets, she knows she won't let anything happen to him. Liam reaches out and touches her arm gently, his fingers warm against her skin. "I'm not going anywhere, Eva. I'm with you, all the way." And in that moment, she finally lets herself believe it. She's no longer just a bodyguard. She's someone who's fallen in love, someone who's willing to risk it all for the person she cares about most. As they stand together, watching the chaos around them, Eva knows one thing for sure: their fight isn't over. But neither is their connection. It's real. It's undeniable. And no matter the dangers that lie ahead, she'll stand by Liam's side, forever. As the dust settles and the immediate danger passes, Eva and Liam share a quiet moment amidst the chaos. The world around them is uncertain, their future's still unclear, but one thing is certain: they've crossed a line, and neither of them can turn back. They've fought side by side, not just against external threats, but against their own feelings, their own fears. Eva's walls have crumbled, and she knows now that protecting Liam isn't just about her duty, it's about love. She's not just guarding his life anymore. She's protecting the connection between them, one that's grown stronger with every challenge, every shared moment. And Liam, he's no longer just the carefree billionaire's son. He's the man who's willing to fight for her, no matter the cost. Together, they've learned that love, like their battle against danger, is never easy. It's messy, complicated, and full of obstacles. But it's worth fighting for. The future may still be uncertain, but as long as they stand together, they know they can face whatever comes next. As the final credits roll and the screen fades to black, one thing remains clear: this is only the beginning. Their story is far from over, and the journey they're on will test them in ways they can't yet imagine. If you've enjoyed this thrilling, emotional rollercoaster of a story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more gripping tales of love, suspense, and danger. Let us know in the comments what you think will happen next in Eva and Liam's story. Do you think their bond will survive the challenges ahead? Or will the dangers they face tear them apart? Stay tuned for more episodes, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of their incredible journey. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.